They just say it because they've heard it a gazillion times.
I'm a little confused. Did we already do this stuff?
No. We did it with one.
So this is with indirect and direct. Okay.
Yeah, with two together. We did it with direct. We did it with indirect. Now we're putting the two together.
Okay.
Are you talking about say may play?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. So we did it with just indirect. We did it with just direct. Now we've got both. And the word order will always be, what's the key word to remember?
Rid.
Rid. So the indirect followed by direct. Gave it to me. All right. Ellos me dieron los libros. All right. Ellos me dieron los libros. ¿Quién sabe? Sí.
Ellos me los libros.
Ellos me los. What's my
Oh,
verb?
I'm sorry.
Dieron.
Yeah.
They gave them to me. They gave me them. They gave me them. Right? They gave me them. You got it now. Okay. Ellos nos lo dieron. ¿Cómo se dice ellos nos lo dieron?
They gave it to us.
They give it to us. Ellos nos los dieron. Grace.
They gave them to us.
They gave them to us. Muy bien. Ellos te lo dieron.
She gave it to you.
Ujú. Ellos te los dieron. Great.
They gave it to him.
They gave
Oh,
Them.
sorry, them to him.
to
You.
you. Okay. See,
The reflexive would be the eos.
the reflexive verbs like bañarse.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So it's a verb, the reflexive verb, then the pronouns is what you're talking
Could
about?
you do an
If-
example of that for me, please?
Okay.
Oh, I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, I can. You know,
We won't see it now. or-
ponerse is to put on, right? Él se pone el sombrero. He puts on the hat. He puts it on. Se lo pone.
Oh, okay.
He puts it on. He puts it on himself. I don't want to do those right now, but that's just an example because you have asked. All right. Now, I only did, notice I did, they gave it to me, to you, to us. I didn't do it down here. And I'm going to tell you about it in a minute here. So there we go. Grace. Now, if I say Grace le dio los dulces, le, how can I translate le? There are several ways. Le can mean
Him, her,
to him, to her.
to me.
No, not to me, that would
Oh,
be
to
me.
you, to you.
To you, Dr. Burke, the formal, right? Okay. All right? So sometimes we add out here, Scott, or ella, or el, or usted, right? To clarify le. Is that okay? Now, if I'm going to say Grace gave them to him, okay, los would be the sweets, them, and to him would be lay. But lay low is really hard to say. Lay low, it becomes a tongue twister. It becomes a tongue twister. Alright? So here's what's going to happen. Oops, two T's. Okay. What happens is anytime we have lay plus lo, lay la, lay los, lay la, do you see how hard that is to say? Anytime we have lay or these or lays, repite, lay lo,
Lelo.
lay la,
Lela.
lay los,
Lelos.
lay las.
Lelas.
See how hard that is to say?
See.
What happens in that case is this will become say, all right? And we know it's an embedded lay or lace because we've got a clue out here, Scott, that it means to him. Also, dar is not necessarily a reflexive verb, right?
See.
I give it to you, I give it to him, I give it to her, right? So, okay?
So
So the lay becomes say.
Uh-huh.
Then,
Yeah. So now, if I had Grace les dio los dulces a los estudiantes, we understand les is to them, right? So Grace, if I were to say les los, it's really hard to say, les los. So this becomes a say. Anytime you see a say lo, say la, say lo, say la, you think, is this a embedded lay or les? And then we see a little clue like a los estudiantes, and we know, oh, it means to the students. We know it's an embedded. Now I'm going to work more with this, but I wanted to at least tell you about it before you read about it tonight, okay? And the only time that happens is if we have lay plus one of these, or lace plus one of these. And it just because the tongue twister, it avoids that. It avoids that. And it's been done for centuries, and so people, now, often we'll realize, let me give you another example. I'm going to change it to Grace to yo, so I have to make this D, okay? Now, we have several things that tell us this is an embedded lay. One, it's not a reflexive verb. Why can it not be a reflexive verb? Even if you don't know what D means, why can it not be a reflexive verb? Put your head on and think. It cannot be a reflexive verb. Let's pretend you don't know this verb. How do you know it's not reflexive? It should be like a flashing light.
Because you're talking about somebody else. With the I, the A means personal
Okay,
for somebody
that's
else.
one clue. Very good.
it doesn't come before the indirect pronoun.
Well, the word order,
Didn't it go, yeah?
see, that's okay. That's all right. The word order is right. But how do we know? Let's pretend you don't know what this verb means. How do you know this is not a reflexive verb?
Did she just say it because it has to come before the verb?
No, that's not it.
It doesn't reflect possession? No.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? Someone answer. ¿Cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Nicole.
Uh-huh. Ask someone ask me.
Oh, it doesn't,
Ask me what my name is. Yo me llamo Linda. Yo me llamo Linda. That's your clue. Yo me llamo Linda. Why can this not be reflexive? Yo me llamo Linda. Yo me llamo Linda.
Because it would have to be may.
It would have to be may if it were reflexive.
Yeah.
Oh,
So if it's reflexive, it will always be may?
Well, no, it would agree with the subject.
Oh, I
It would
mean.
agree with the subject.
Okay.
So even if you didn't know the verb, you know it's an embedded lay or lace because it's not reflexive. You know, some students say, oh, could that be a reflexive verb? In this case, it cannot be. Okay? Nosotros.
you're not doing it to yourself.
Right. Okay? And in this case, this cannot be a reflexive verb. Why?
It doesn't reflect the.
Doesn't agree with nosotros, right? Reflexive is, I do it to myself, we do it to ourselves. So for a reflexive verb, it'd have to be a nos, even if you don't know what this verb is. We gave them to, and then I might have out here, to them. We gave them the sweets to them.
So it's always to somebody unless it's reflexive. If it's not reflexive, then you know it's.
It's an embedded lay or lace.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
In other words, what we have is an embedded lay to him, to her, to you, to them, okay? So it's embedded. So that's how we would know. I mean, if it's a yo, this would have to be made to be reflexive, so you say, ah, this is an embedded lay or lace. Here, this can't be a reflexive,
Right.
so that's a clue, okay? All right, vamos a trabajar con los grupos. Algunos van a trabajar con Ronald, otros conmigo, ¿sí? Conmigo. All right?